Is your business ready for AI? Now, how we do marketing in 2026 has changed from 2025. And I want to walk you through what's changed and how you can stay ahead of the rapidly evolving shift with marketing our businesses. Now, here's the thing. Um, I want to say that as business owners, visibility, whether it's to our online shop or whether it's to our physical location shop, we need traffic. We need to have people uh, going to our venues, whether it's online or in person. So therefore, we have an audience to showcase what we do. So therefore, we can sell what we do to that audience. And what's happening at the moment is the market is rapidly changing. Now, when I first started in radio, 3 decades ago, we had a very traditional sales funnel process that was all about going out and getting as many eyes on the business and then convert that traffic. So it's the traditional sales funnel. So it was attention and then it went to interest, desire, and action. And that's how pretty much we've been. So if we're invisible to our audience, that's one thing. But it's also another thing to understand how visibility affects our leads, which affects our sales and our ongoing relationships with our audience. And so that's what I want to talk to you about in this video, because we're no longer talking about attracting just humans. We have to now attract AI and AI search models. So this is why I say everything's changing in 2026 of how we market our business. Now, I want to just go back to, so the traditional marketing funnel or sales funnel has been all about that interest, attraction, interest, desire, and action. That's been that whole funnel of how we go out and create content, how we talk to our audience in a simple sales funnel. But now people have choice. Like, we are surrounded by over 10,000 marketing messages a day. So how people purchase has dramatically changed. And Google actually did some research a few years back, and they came up with what's called the messy middle. So that's basically how buyer behavior has changed. The customer journey of how we research and purchase has changed. So essentially, if we want to win customers, we've got to have the right message at the right place at the right time. And if we don't, then how online search is going, you'll get recommended to someone else. So I really wanted to walk through what are the key things that affect how we attract our audience and convert as well. So I have, I guess, the 5 essential marketing pillars that I've observed over the years in business that dramatically affects how we get our brand known, and also our offers sold, and also relationships built. Because to me, marketing isn't just about that one and done sale, it's about that ongoing relationship with your audience. And so I want to walk through what are those essential 5 pillars so we can cut through the noise and direct our efforts to where it matters most. So the first one I'm going to head to, we've got 5 essential pillars. So we've got our brand power, products, what we sell, our offers, how we sell it, and then our content, which is our visibility engine. Now, often when I say content, people think of just their social media or their reels on Instagram, but content is a holistic approach. It starts from everything that we say on our website, our collateral, our visual elements, right through to our social media. It includes long form and short form content. So it's a very broad, holistic approach. And that's why when I created my online membership Content Catalyst, it was with that in mind, as a marketing hub, as opposed to just here's how to make a short form video for social media. And then we have our systems, because at the end of the day, systems are what will make it doable to do it when everything else is happening around us. So let's talk about brand for a second. So the first one out of the gate. So I look at those as well in sequential order because a lot of people, if you're starting over here and you haven't built your foundations, then you're going to be you're going to be working on tactics over strategy. And that's one of the things that I always look at is, if I'm in a room of people and they're talking about ideas on how to promote something or how to, get people engaged in something, is often they will talk about tactics, and tactics are necessary. But without a strategy, it's like driving to the shop without a map, without directions. You know that it's over there, but if you don't know where to get there, without the map, if you've never been there before, then you can drive around in circles. And that's essentially what happens with strategy when you do tactics before strategy or tactics without strategy. So let's look at the brand. Brand power is really important because if we don't have consistency with our branding, then again, we're talking about, and I'm going to talk here about customers and AI, because if your customers don't understand you, then AI definitely won't understand you. So generic noise is when you have messy imagery across different platforms, when you have bios that aren't updated, when you have links that are outdated. And that's why, I'm forever, once a month I'll go and do a check across platforms for that reason. I was working on something the other day with a client, and it was outdated, and it had only been updated what feels like recently. So it is important to have something in your diary that actually helps you look at auditing your platforms regularly. And when I say audit, it can just literally be, are my images updated? Are my banner, like if you're talking about LinkedIn or YouTube or your Facebook pages, is that banner shot up to date? Your links and your descriptions, just those simple things can be enough to make a huge difference. So what we want is, and I talk about branding, a lot of people often think as well, it's just your colors and logo. And it's not, it's so much more. It's how people feel and the perception about your brand that they have. So what we want to do is mold that perception that's aligned with the value that you offer. And I say mold because essentially people will make up whatever they feel they believe. Now, I can tell you from my own point of view with business is that I've done a lot of work over the last few months on my own branding and repositioning with everything because my business has evolved. And so that's why I need to now update everything across my digital footprint to reflect that. So positioning, how do you want to position yourself? Are you the budget car company, or are you the premium car company that has all the nice cars, the Ferraris that you want to, hire for the weekend? So where do you see yourself positioned in the marketplace? So that's your brand. Have a look at what that looks like for you, because if you've got inconsistency there, then of course, that will confuse your customers and will definitely confuse AI as well. And I say AI search engine. So think of Google. Google is definitely evolved when it comes to how it searches, and also it's connected very closely with Gemini. Well, it is Gemini. Like Gemini is Google. So all that information comes from there. You've got Perplexity, which is like search engine like queen, and then of course you have ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT is going to be offering, where you can do ads in here and you can get discovered inside of ChatGPT. So it's really important that if you want these search engines to find you and recommend you, then that information has to be up to date. So let's talk about your product, because one of the things that again, and this is no shade to anyone that is at different stages of their journey. It's just awareness of going, where am I at now? A little check-in of where I am at now. So therefore I can update things as I go through. Because if we try and do everything, often we get overwhelmed and not do anything. So that's why I want to bring these things up with you of going, what are the pillars that need attention right now. So, for example, products. I've just recently, reviewed all my products in my product suite and my customer journey of what I offered to where I want people to like nurture them from when they first land on my website to, a long-term relationship of how I can help their business. So this is where I encourage you to go in and have a look at your product suite, have a look at your customer journey, and ask yourself, do I have a clear ascension model and for people to go to? Because again, if you've got 20 different products and they don't make sense of where people need to go, then a confused audience is a audience that doesn't buy. Okay, so let's go to our offers now. So this is number 3, is our offers. Often what I see, and again, working in sales for many years, we default to selling the features. So the features are something like, my program has 3 monthly live sessions and it has tools and templates. They're features. But the benefits are, if I were booking an airline ticket, I'm booking an airline ticket, but the benefit is I'm going on a holiday to relax. If I was talking about a car, it's like, I'm not going to sell the steering wheel and the seats. I'm talking about how it drives and the experience that it's going to give me. So having a look at your offers. Now, one of the things that when you are doing spotlight campaigns and you're doing launches, it's really important to assess what are the key touch points. Like, I have a checklist of like 20 touch points that you can go through, which helps communicate who is it for, what problem does it solve, and what are the outcomes that your offer delivers. And when you go through and you're reviewing your landing pages, like at the moment, I am literally reviewing my whole landing page for Content Catalyst, and I'm redoing all that at the moment. And so because of that, I'm really aware of making sure that I am looking at their transformations of what you can expect, so it's clear of why you would want to work with me. So ask yourself, is it easy for people to buy? Again, when I talk to a lot of people, they're going, I'm in launch right now and I haven't had many sales. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I'll go to your website. Let's just have a quick look. And then I see that you don't have an alert bar, an announcement bar at the top, for example, directing traffic to that offer. One of the things that I do whenever I am in a launch or campaign is making sure that alert bar's up there. But if you can, even changing over that first part of your header as well on your homepage, the above the fold, what we call the above the fold. If you can modify that, make sure your call to action buttons go to where you want to lead people to at that time. So how clear is your messaging around the transformation? Make sure that you're showcasing the benefits of the outcomes and then clearly showing that. And I also want to say that visuals matter as well. So if you are putting visuals in your offers, AI also does search those visuals. And that's why it's really also important in your images to make sure your alt text, you rename your files and have alt text that is correct as well, because these are all signals for AI to recommend you based on authority and trust. Now, I do want to talk about authority and trust, because when it comes to online, what I recommend, and I'm going to do another video about this, is Google has what they call the EAT ranking. So it's expertise, experience, trust, and authority. And I've got an AI prompt in there that I went in and evaluated my own digital footprint with this prompt, and it was able to show me where I'm really strong and then a couple of things that I needed to work on. And when you can understand your digital footprint, then it helps to understand why the content that you make matters. Because if you're just creating like content for the sake of it, just to have visibility without a strategy, then of course you're going to burn out, number one. And two, you're going to find that the content itself will not help with your discoverability. So one of the things that I did last year is I went into hyper focus mode with building an AI marketing blueprint, which is essentially a whole AI marketing team and diagnostic intelligence tools. So I was like the mad scientist in my lab, in my in my office every night and weekend building this. So what it meant is that I had to just minimize distractions. And so I became very strategic about the content that I was making. And what that meant is I minimized a lot of my short form content that I was making. But it didn't stop leads from coming in, because over on YouTube, I was still getting thousands of views on my videos, and those videos were connected to high value opt in lead magnets for people to come and download and get valuable information. But then I still was also building my mailing list in the meantime because of that strategic content. So when you are looking at your content, looking at long form content, and then also short form content. Short form content, if you are making video content, you're going to get indexed by Google. Like even if you go over to Google, you'll see that they now index short form videos. So you will come up in search. That's why it's important to make sure you've got your text on screen, that your captions are right, and your titles are optimized. Same with your blogs, making sure that it's also optimized for SEO, because you can go over to ChatGPT and say, write me a blog about this topic, but there's optimized content and then there's average content. And so just a few little tweaks here and there can make the world of difference when it comes to getting your content indexed as well. So what happens is when somebody looks up a service, so let's say I wanted to get a photographer, it will go out and it will find all of the photographers in that local area, and then they'll come back with the person that has got the highest ratings and rankings, and also digital footprint, trust authority signals. So if you're just posting a single photo without anything on social media, it doesn't have a lot to scrape. But if you are creating content, especially face to camera video content, increases your ranking. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole a whole video just on this as well, of how to increase your trust and authority online. But the search engines highly rank having your face to camera videos, because again, it signals trust and authority. So that's just one thing to note. And then having a content system, so you're being strategic with how you create. Like I manage a lot and I don't have a lot of time to put to making content. So I have to do it in how it works for me, whether it's short form or long form. But I want to make sure it's strategic, and I want to make sure it's evergreen, and I want to make sure that it's answering a specific question that people are asking as well. That will help with the longevity of that piece of content. So having a clear content system definitely helps. And that brings me to my next pillar, which of course is systems. And systems helps us scale. So if you have good systems in place for your content, for your lead generation, for your branding, for your messaging, then you will have consistency. You will have good trust signals with online, but it will also make it easier for your clients and AI to understand what you do as well. So here's the thing, right? I created, like I said, and diagnostic tools, because I was sick of seeing generic chat GPT answers come out. So these two diagnostic tools is my business DNA and my brand DNA. And so it goes through, it gives you clarity about what your business is and your tone and your vibe and your audience and your messaging and your keywords. And then it takes those two documents and they become the central intelligence for your AI, ChatGPT. So then you can program ChatGPT with your full business intelligence and brand intelligence. And then whenever you go and use custom AI assistants, the custom GPTs, which I have a whole plug and play AI suite of, then it helps to get better answers and consistent answers and more intelligent answers to save you time. And like if I've got a VA and they're using these tools, they're going to sound like me instead of generic output, which is what I see a lot of. So with my AI team, with those systems and workflows and templates that I've put in place and tools, it just helps me save time. For example, I have got one AI assistant that is my monthly content planner, and used to take me 2 days to map out a full like month's worth of content marketing for my clients. I can do it in 2 minutes. Like, that's what I'm talking about when it comes to time saving tasks, which helps to increase productivity because after I make this video, I can take the transcription, I can go over to my AI assistant, and it's going to write all the show notes that are optimized, and it's going to help me create the thumbnail, and it's going to like essentially increase my productivity because if I can remove those roadblocks to making like valuable content, I'm going to make more of it because it's easier. And also, when it comes to getting better intelligence, I can do good research to find out what people are looking up so I can make content that people need answers to. And so it's a lot more strategic. And then, of course, messaging consistency. As I said, when you have that, you don't have different looking styles of content or visuals in your marketing. So, what does that mean when it comes to actually your content? Well, how do you know where your score is? That's the question, isn't it? Because when it comes to knowing your score, like I said, over the last few months, I've been working in the back end of my own business, looking at where was I foggy, where was I blurry, where was I fuzzy, and then where can I align everything a lot more. And so one of the things that I did was make a scorecard, so I could actually assess my own marketing. And because I was able to, and I'll show you this. This is a little preview. So I made a marketing scorecard, and this is my test version that you're seeing, a little behind the scenes look at it. But basically, it'll assess each one of your pillars. And I'm just going to go in and put my name in. Now, I've just made an update of this. So um, it will basically go through and it will ask you questions, the quiz based on each pillar. So this is my product pillar, this is my offer pillar, and I can go in and click the numbers based on those questions, and it will then analyze that information. And then basically it will give me, and I didn't know what I pressed then. I should have made note. But what it will do, it will actually give me what I need to focus on in my business. So, for example, this has come up with a score of 8 out of 20 for my product. So that's the one I need to focus on first, because essentially what happens is people, we know that we've got to do all the things in our business to get visible and connect with our audience to sell and reach our revenue goals. However, often what happens is we get so overwhelmed in trying to do all the things that we become like stagnant and we do nothing. So this is focused. So I could go, right, I know what I need to focus on in my business. You can see that my product suite is critical, like that I need to look at. My branding's solid, my content's solid, my systems are solid, but my product and offers need fine tuning. And then, so it'll give me a score out of all the pillars. And then what it'll do is actually give me a 30-day focus. So you're not focusing, trying to fix everything, because you could see that I need to work on my offers next, or I need to work on the other bits of my business. But what it's doing is going to give me the focus for the next 30 days. And then it will actually give me the 3 things to focus on as opposed to everything. So that is essentially what I created. Now, if you do want to join me and get your own score, I'm doing a live interactive session this Thursday at 12:30 Sydney time. And if you want to join me for that, you can go to my website and register. But basically what you'll do is we'll go through that quiz together. So I will share that quiz with you. You can do it live there. And then I'm going to go through a few other different little ways and tips and share some pretty cool tools on how you can automate and move the needle pretty quickly with your score that you get. And yeah, if you want to join me and do this quiz with me Thursday, then all you need to do is head to Deb Zabo and register, and you can get your marketing scorecard. All right, that's all from me. Let me know in the comments, what are you working on for 2026? What pillar do you think in your business is strong, and what do you feel you need to work on? Where are you struggling in your business, and where are you feeling about getting discovered by AI? Are you all over it, or are you at the beginning stage? I'd love to know. All right, that's all from me. I'm Deb Szabo, and I would love to see you on Thursday for our marketing glow up. Essentially, it is a glow up for your marketing where you get to do the scorecard and find out your score so you can get a roadmap for the next 30 days of what to work on to help move the needle so you will get discovered by not only your ideal customer but also by AI. And yeah, that's the goal really, isn't it? Because that way we can reach our revenue goals. That's all from me. Thanks. Bye.